The news network for the people, combating the mainstream media.
The United Nations warns the coronavirus could cause global famines of biblical proportions. Now, the United Nations warned on Tuesday that more than 250 million people could be pushed to the brink of starvation unless action is taken to provide food and humanitarian relief to the at-risk regions. Now, the executive director of the World Food Program, also known as WFP, addressed the UN Security Council during a video conference Tuesday, saying famines could break out in more than 36 countries in the developing world in a worst-case scenario. Now, 10 of those countries already have more than 1 million people on the brink of starvation. Quote, while dealing with the COVID-19 pandemic, we're also on the brink of a hunger pandemic, end quote, David Beasley told the council. Now he continues, there is also a real danger that more people could potentially die from the economic impact of COVID-19 than from the virus itself. There are no famines yet, Beasley said, who is the executive director of the World Food Program. He continues, but I must warn you that if we don't prepare and act now to secure access, avoid funding shortfalls, and disruptions to trade, we could be facing multiple famines of biblical proportions within a short few months, end quote. Now, the WFP had already warned that 2020 would be a devastating year for numerous countries ravaged by poverty or war, with 135 million people facing crisis levels of hunger or worse. Now, their new projections nearly double that number. When added to the 821 million people already starving, that scenario would push more than 1 billion people into dire situations. Now, the agency identified 55 countries most at risk of being thrown into famine in its annual report on food crises, released this week, warning that their fragile healthcare will be unable to cope with the impact of the virus. Now, 10 countries were singled out as at risk due to the housing and food crises last year, which includes Yemen, Afghanistan, the Democratic Republic of Congo, Venezuela, Ethiopia, South Sudan, Syria, Nigeria, and Haiti. The World Food Program estimates that $350 million will be needed immediately, but only about a quarter of the sum has yet been planned.